will just grab those real quick. Our dragon friend did not seem to notice us whatsoever, so we will just walk away. I sense the rune. I saw it, right? I'm not losing my mind. Where did I see it? You detect the abyssal rune. Oh wait, is that it? I see you. Oh, Lord, coming for you. Okay, do you know what? This is Spellforge Servitor territory here, especially since I do need to survive this in a half-decent spot so that I can immediately head into Rune City. Let's hope I don't get teleported out while I'm resting up to heal here, but I definitely should do so. Rest up to heal, that is. Please, Abomination, could everyone just chill for a moment? Okay, Servitor, please do your thing. Thank you. Yeah, get that vortex. You got it, son. I do fly, so I can kind of be a cheesy son of a gun here. Seems like a very nice removal tool for bad mutations, which makes sense, right? Because that is, by design, what it's kind of like meant to do at the end of the day. Gateway leading out appears in the middle of a lava pool. Okay, that's cool. Okay, I think that shifter was the main issue there. Regardless, let's condense your vein to just try to get some of these sons of guns frying a little sooner rather than later. Also mulched all of my lovely boomerangs, which kind of sucks. Could switch to javelins, I guess. At the very least, let's not accidentally waste our net, so that's something. Cute little Oliphants. I agree, especially this one I find ridiculously cute, even though I think it's meant to be a bit of an eldritch horror. Regardless, my brain just can't seem to reconcile it as such. But avert thine eyes, because unfortunately these cute Oliphants are not long for this world if things go according to plan. Spellforge Servitor, please actually come back. Please, thank you. And maybe, do you want me? I'll just iron shot this son of a gun. I would like to not be teleported about. Walk through my own clouds, which is less than ideal here. Great job, Spellforge Servitor, though. Killing it out there. And okay, here we go. It's here. It is there. So this is why we leave enough magic for just such a thing. Yoink. Please and thank you. Perfect. Draconian's gonna be a problem. Never mind, I'm in lava. Yeah, not too bad here. Should be able to keep ourselves as safe as we possibly can. I could just head for the door. Oh, let's pick up that rune. Good thing, by the way, I don't know if I was on dry land when I pulled that. Did I almost drop the rune in lava? I'm assuming the game wouldn't let me do that. Usually the game is a bit more forgiving these days of all this kind of deep lava shenanigans and everything that can come about due to that, but still not ideal, regardless of how I slice it up here. In fact, okay, this buddy's still a problem because they could teleport me. I was tempted to try and grab coin piles and bring them my way, but why bother? We got what we came for. Thank you, Spellforge Servitor. Enjoy your time in the abyss. See you never, sucker. I mean, friend. I mean, buddy, old pal. But okay, not too bad, all things considered. A fairly smooth trip through the abyss. Don't love poorly fit armor here. Of course, we're already struggling a little bit in the defense department. Why bother with gold? I call myself Gozag worshipper. Well, but that, my friend, is exactly why I bother with gold. Every coin counts. Sure, we're gonna have plenty more, but every coin I can get into my hoard. I'm a red dragon over here, just obsessed with every single treasure I could possibly get my hands on. It matters not whether we actually need said treasure. More importantly, is whether or not I have this treasure. But regardless, pretty happy with that. The 4th rune under our belt, if we take a quick peek in there. Fantastic. Do I want to do vaults now? Potentially soon. For that, we could swap over to a bit of a caster build. Do I play D&D? Not as much as I would like. I love D&D so much. My brother, my older brother, is an incredible DM. So we've had quite a few different kind of fun campaigns. The last couple we've tried, it's been like my sister and her partner, me and my partner, as a group of 4 with my brother DMing, and we've had so much fun, but unfortunately adulting sucks and scheduling is so hard to do. It's so hard to like finish a campaign. I guess that is the golden goose. That's the dream that most D&D players only ever dream of achieving, actually finishing a long campaign. But no, I adore D&D, but very much wish I could play it more. I mean, what I should do really is I should start DMing. I've always had an interest in it. Part of what I like about D&D is the kind of improv part of it. So I do think I would enjoy being a DM. I've also learned from the best, in my opinion. Again, brother's just incredible at it. So one of these days, I need to just take matters into my own hands and try to get some people together. I know my partner's pretty much always down to play, and we usually are able to make a bit more time for that, seeing as how we're not quite as adventurous as my sister and her partner. They kept, missing out because they were off traveling and going on hikes, doing all that incredible real life stuff. But unfortunately, the D&D suffers. Scheduling conflicts, the final boss of D&D, exactly. And yeah, your last campaign blew up because of scheduling. It's so tough. I've only heard of a few rare cases where people have like their tried and true D&D crew who will always kind of put out in that extra effort. But yeah, I'm definitely hoping to do so again in the future. I specifically love making characters. I could do that all day long. Me and my partner both just get obsessed with that, and especially we really enjoy doing it together, because either we'll keep things secret from each other and try and come up with fun little like characterizations or flavors to it, or there have been a couple times that we've worked together. Like we played a pair of verbal brothers in the last one that we played, and that was really cool because we had a fun couple of like arcs planned for the journey, and who knows rather, if any of those would have actually played out and worked out. That's all part of it for sure. Makes you jealous of people who can play D&D for a living. Scheduling, it's their job. Easy, right? What an incredible workspace. You start as a kid with 3rd mostly DMing, you run a D&D club at the high school you work at, and there's so many kids in it. That's awesome. I love to hear that. I know I've definitely heard that, popularity raised a lot. I mean, thanks to Stranger Things even, it just put it on a lot of people's maps. So you have a lot more people interested in it now. It's funny that I have people that I knew back in high school that had never crossed their mind. They'd never heard of it before. And then I met up with them. I saw them at like a 10-year reunion I went to. And they now have a D&D group that they meet up with all the time. So I thought that was incredible and very cool. That's mood. Character creation is almost like the writer's prompt of tabletop RPGs. Exactly. Well, and what I love to do is take all existing like 5e content and then just change it flavor-wise to fit whatever kind of character motif I'm going for. So I know like relatively recently, I think a couple campaigns ago, I was playing as the dadliest bard, and so everything was basically changed to like having is it Tasha's laughter? What's the laughter one? But for that spell, which for anyone who's not aware, it essentially on a failed check just makes the person break down in uncontrollable laughter, and they cannot stop. Tasha's hideous laughter, that's the one, yeah. And yeah, for that one, It was just the most like god-awful puns. Just the worst joke I could possibly think of on the spot. And so it hit so hard when it did finally work out. Yeah, it was all dad jokes. My like inspiration to my teammates was just me giving them like pep talks and calling them champ and bud and all that kind of stuff. And then on the side of that, I also went like, I think I was lightning and knives. So blades and lightning were the theme of all of my spells. Super fun. And yeah, I'd recommend that to anyone who really enjoys the kind of creative aspect of D&D. As long as things do the same thing mechanically, you know, that you're still rolling the same dice, they're still dealing the same amount of damage, you can say that it looks like anything you want. You can have a dire wolf companion that instead is like a morphic being who constantly changes between states of animal and beast. And I guess those are the same, but I'm sure you get the point. Regardless, super fun, super hilarious stuff. And so many things once nerd and fridge are now a huge part of regular pop culture. Superheroes, fantasy, video games. It's fantastic. We live in the golden age for sure. But okie dokie. I guess at some point I should probably get back to the game. I don't know, I can get sidetracked and talked about D&D forever. Again, just such a fun exercise in creativity and always so enjoyable. Every group I played with has played super different and it's been wonderful for it. Like my sister's partner, very much not a D&D head, was new to it and didn't really know what he was doing, which led to tons of hilarious moments of him like just walking off on his own, leaving the full party doing his own thing, and then getting ambushed by a series of giant rodents and almost losing his life because of it. The emergent storytelling, just incredible stuff. Yeah, your Blade Singer Wizard, you have Burning Hands flavored as your sword growing to 15 feet and swinging an arc. Exactly, that's the good stuff. I love that. Yeah, Dropout TV is an ongoing D&D show. They're doing horror-themed fairy tales. I haven't seen that one yet. I love Dropout TV's D&D stuff, Dimension 20. Fantastic. I'd recommend it to everyone. In fact, what's the one that started it all? It's something high school. Oh my gosh, why am I blanking right now? Regardless, I would recommend Fantasy High. Thank you, Manu. Yeah, Fantasy High. Oh my gosh, you just have to listen to, I think it's the end of the first episode. Potentially you need to watch the second episode. But that immediately blew my mind. If you know what I mean. Somebody's mind gets blown. Incredible stuff. So fun. Although that said, there are loads of non-D&D tabletop RPGs that are also amazing. Right, I haven't really explored too many of the alternatives, but I've always been interested. Especially with like wizards potentially doing some kind of annoying sketchy stuff with creative content. I was starting to take a look into other ones for sure. But you got hooked on Dropout because of Game Changer. There's so much cool stuff on there. Incredible. I'm really excited. Next Game Changer that's coming out is a second version of their Definitely Not Survivor show, and I'm super excited for that. All the Game Changers are incredible. I mean, I'll watch anything with Brendan in it for sure. Love the mans. Tried to get into Dimension 20, but you really gotta pay for their site to get uncensored. It's very hard to listen with every word being bleeped out. And that's tomorrow, eh? The talent they got for that based on the previews nuts, right? I'm so excited. The first one, did you watch the first edition of it too? So fun, especially because a lot of the comedians who are part of Dropout TV are huge Survivor fans. So it was super meta, and they really kind of enjoyed that. But yeah, I didn't realize it was tomorrow. I just saw the preview the other day, felt fun, but I'm really excited. Also, like some of the retro clones, like Old School Essentials, basically modernized old editions of D&D. That can be a lot of fun. Oh, that's really neat. I'll have to take a look into that. Personally, love the Unexpectables and the High Rollers D&D. Less known than Critical Role or Dimension 20, but no less quality storytelling. Nice. I'll have to look that up. I feel like there are a couple that I haven't had the chance to look into before, but I've heard good things about. Dungeons and Daddies is supposed to be good, is it not? I think I've heard that name tossed around because there are lots of jokes about how it doesn't sound like a D&D podcast necessarily. But I definitely should check it out at some point. I know, too many good podcasts out there. Again, I'm going down the rabbit hole. We could be here all day. So, with that in mind, I mean, definitely feel free to keep prompting the D&D stuff. I love the ever-living crap out of it. But I will at least try to do a bit of performative thinking here, pretend that we are still interested in the game. Sorry, DCSS. I'm a sucker for these conversations that get me excited. Also, not another D&D podcast, probably your favorite comedy D&D show. Not another D&D podcast. Who is that? That seems super familiar. Well, you're bad? No, I love it. Thank you. Thank you so much, Crackety. This is the crap I live for. But I do need to... Not another D&D podcast. Who are you? I recognize that name so much. Oh, NADPod. That's what I recognize it from. Everyone calls it NADPod. But who is this? Who is? Probably someone in chat has already told me. Oh, it's Brian Murph. It's Murph and Emily. That's why I've heard of it. Of course. It's a great conversation, but we're giving DCSS too much time to figure out how to kill us. It's already good enough at that. Very true. Jake Hurwitz, Emily, Murph, and Tanner. Yeah, that's a super fun group. Again, I'm a sucker for improv comedians going about D&D. It's funny how improv and D&D are such a perfect like mesh of content. Always so funny, and incredible like storylines come out of it too. I love the arcs. Love how I spell their names. You always just hear it. Yeah. It makes sense though, right? It is a perfect fit for sure. Improv Canadians? Is there any other kind? The best kind of improv Canadians. Comedians? You know what? I'm coining it. It's a thing now. My favorite. Yeah, if you like D20's players that love NADPod, right? Because Murph and Emily have both been on a lot of Dimension 20. But Brian's a great DM. Nice, yeah. I'm excited to see him on the DM side of it, because I've only seen him as a player. Which actually... And again, I said I wasn't going to keep tangenting, yet here we are. The other thing that I love about D&D is when you've played with someone for a long time and you've only seen them as either a DM or a player, and then you get to see them swap around. I mean, watching my brother be an actual player is so funny to me every time, because growing up when I was a kid, he was just the DM. That was his whole thing. And he knows the game so well that he comes up with such like creative, fun ways to play his characters and whatnot. So, oh, it's so awesome. Okay, I'm gonna listen to NADPod though, not another D&D podcast. That has to happen, because I do adore all of those sons of guns who make it up. So thank you for the reminder. In fact, I'm gonna take even longer of a little hiatus from DCSS here. I promise, DCSS, we will get back to you, okay? I'm sorry, my friend. Not another NAD. I'm like trying to spell NADPod. I feel like I'm missing a vowel in there somewhere. Regardless, I'll find it. Thanks. But okie dokes, where do we wish to go here? We're not quite ready for the extended game, so what it boils down to, before we head into vaults, do I want to potentially open our way into Zot, get a little bit of additional experience there, find some additional tools to work with? It would be nice to have something like Ignition up and running by the time we made our way into vaults, though in our current armor set that is a ways off. I guess if I turn into... Oh, that's not right. Right, I moved it. If I turn to stone, how we looking? Still have my shield, so that's a ways off. If I turn into a dragon, on the other hand, my resistances suffer, so that's not great. But things do come down a spell here. 50%, not even close. Never mind, no ignition. It's not happening, folks. So, let's go see what Zot has in store for us, shall we? Take a bit of a peek, a bit of a gander down that direction, and see how it goes. Whoops daisies. Let's try that again. Perfect. Man, now my brain is just full on D&D mode. I need to find a group to play with. I think part of my issue with trying to start DMing myself is just the fact that I want it to be so perfect. So I feel like I'm gonna keep putting it off. Tell myself, oh, okay, at some point I gotta do it, but saving it for the future. But I need to just get off my butt at some point, especially since I'd like to just have enough experience to be able to come up with good encounters. I try to hypothesize in my head, and I know they have things like combat rating these days that help alleviate some of the concerns there. Oh, jeez. Okay, I thought I got mutated, but it was a different kind of strange purple ooze. I am not resistant to electricity. Let's see if I can't fix that. Ah, haste and resistance. Perfect. As our draconian shifter friend tries their very best to ruin my life in the way that only they know how to do. Fantastic, thank you. There we go, we've managed to get our foothold. Beautiful. Start with a one-shot with the group I know, even if I just run a module and adjust it to my needs so I can get my feet wet with no long-term concerns spread over. Very true. Again, I have so many ideas in my mind, but I can probably adapt one of the campaign plans I had, because I had two main ones that I was like theory crafting, coming up with, because I was going to run one for my brother and my partner at some point. But probably should. That would take out a lot of the impetus to actually come up with something, instead just get us playing, which I think is desperately needed here. Combat bouncing is always easier after your first or second session. Get a feel for your party's strengths and weaknesses. Yeah, especially since I'd feel so bad if I like just party wipe my friends on the very first attempt. You know what? We're gonna do it. I'm going sicko mode here. Gonna become a dragon, and then we're gonna manifold assault to our heart's content. Beautiful. Come get some. Fantastic. Thing about DM ideas, you always wanted to run a one-shot. Yeah, what kind? Where a tribe of goblins gets their hands on a deck of many things. That could definitely be a lot of fun. Yeah, I feel like I'm a sucker for exactly that kind of theory crafting, where I'm very much an ideas person and not like achieving results person, which is a horrible trait to have for the most part. It means that I end up just sitting there fantasizing in my head about all the fun campaigns I could totally do sometime instead of just doing them. But that does sound like a really cute idea. They all use it and you got to clean up the aftermath. That's fun. I definitely I have some interest in trying out a oh geez, that orb of fire went down real fast. That first hit was nasty. That was awesome. But yeah, I definitely have interest in trying out a what is the word for like pseudo-modern setting, where it's still fully fantasy setting, something like Fantasy High. Basically just steal all the good ideas from Fantasy High and try to put it into practice on my own. Especially since I want to try and get some people who've never played before interested or like starting into it. And I feel like one of the best ways to do that is with comedy, because then there's no pressure. People don't feel quite as intense about like, oh, I need to be creative and come up with these storylines and arcs. And instead they can just enjoy, laugh and have fun, because that's at the end of the day more so what D&D is about. It's an excuse to get together with your friends, have some drinks, have some snacks, whatever floats your boat, whatever your group is interested in, and just have a heckin' good time. But though, one of your top 2 tabletop ideas you never got to run were 1, the party wakes up in a goblin prison, middle of a goblin-human struggle, and evidence is around to show that maybe this was originally goblin land, and it's not clear who's in the wrong. Love that. Ambiguous morality, that's pretty high up there on my list of achievements. It's part of what I appreciate a lot about my brother's DMing style, is he does a lot of oh gosh, are we the baddies type things, or specifically encourages non-traditional approaches to combat. Because sometimes violence is not the answer. I think I can step up and to the right to prevent bounces here. So I'm gonna do so. But 2, you were trying to rig up Fate into a Redwall setting, complete with poem hints and the lore of Redwall. Ooh. Redwall is a series that I wish I'd gone into more as a kid. One of my cousins was in love with them and read pretty much every book that came out. But it is a really fun setting, so that sounds like it could be a very enjoyable time for sure. Love that. Imagine there's one card left in the deck of many things, and you challenge your players to remember what they've seen so far to judge what the remaining card is for their own use. Yeah, for sure. You remember watching some of the Redwall cartoon as a kid? There was a cartoon? Oh my gosh, I was only aware of the books. That's interesting. I was just a sucker for, yeah, the world building of like this kind of animal theme thing. I mean, one of my favorite imaginary games that I played with my siblings growing up was called The Littles, and we were all, you know, tiny inch-high people, and we came up with all sorts of fun interactions with wildlife and animals, and just a creative kid's wet dream, really. Just so much content there to go off of. It was the best of times, and it was not the worst of times. So I can't exactly use that quote as intended, but regardless, always fun to think of those imaginary worlds. But yeah, I like that card idea a lot, Manikiri. Another hallmark of my brother's style as a DM is coming up with custom magic items and then having no way of identifying them. And so it leads to lots of creative things of you know, trial and erring, and it makes you feel very much like you found a real magical artifact. Like, what the heck does this do? I have no context for how to even start thinking of how to use it. Like, do I just will something to happen and hope that something terrible doesn't happen? So I love that kind of magic realism a whole lot, because I think it can go lots of fun and exciting directions. And yeah, always a good time. I love seeing where players go too, because I feel like every player kind of handles it differently, and you can never guess what players are going to try to do. It's always wild.